Hello everybody. We are walking to Home Depot with Beth, our scared doodle. Hello everybody, I'm with Beth. We are at Home Depot. What a huge trip for her. It's something we really couldn't do until her 4th week here. Her panic and fear was so extreme. It literally overrode everything in her life. She couldn't focus on anything if she was in a state of panic. And the smallest thing would send her into fight or flight, literally a leaf blowing by. And you can still see the worry, even with her being in heel, but it is so improved. We've given her a job to focus on, which is heel. If she breaks heel and makes a mistake, she gets the e-collar. So all of a sudden, the stakes are higher, so she has more focus on heel than she does her surroundings. If she gets scared and tries to run away, I'll correct and then beep. Correct, then direct. So it tells her, okay, stay in heel. I can actually watch my surroundings and see there is nothing to panic. We are not living in post-apocalyptic war zone. So, good girl. When she checks in like that, I'll always give her a good girl and a thumbs up. If she's in heel position, she's getting constant praise, no click on the collar. When she leaves heel position, the pattern is stem first, then tone. Correct, direct. We're in the slower aisles before we make it up to the main entrance, just to see how she's doing. Good girl. This is a new behavior. You know, this downstay, if you remember back to the drop-off, she was constantly at the end of the leash, constantly hiding behind her owner. So the fact that she's going down, going on her side, not in an anxious state. This is something we've created through the training. We've patterned the calm down stay. We've got people walking around. She hears a cart coming. We're really trying to pattern falling back on those commands instead of going into flight. The downstay is crucial. That's why we spent so much time focusing on that downstay. Stay. The stakes are higher for breaking the command than her perceived fear. This is patterned, right? The relaxed stay, the double down, that shin on the ground, that's not an accident. We've taught her that, and we've taught her to use that as a coping skill when she's feeling scared. Good. That's what gets praised. Good girl. This is hard for her. You know, you have to put yourself in her brain. She really is scared. But she can be so much improved. It's just a matter of exposure and correcting all the panicky stuff and then guiding her back into command. I told her owners we could easily keep her for 6 months and still not be done. It's like a painting that's never finished. So much exposure, so much time for these fearful dogs. All right, to get her back into heel, I'm gonna tap the tone and say heel. Heel, tap the tone, start walking, and then you immediately look down. Correct if she's out of heel, right there. Bring her back to heel. All right, we're gonna make our way up to the main entrance. Good girl, Beth. Good girl. All right, we've got her up at the main entrance. We've got her in a downstay, watching people go back and forth, making sure she can prioritize that downstay over her fears. This sniffing is new. Before, she had no time to be curious. She was too worried about being afraid. Good girl. Yeah, just public exposure. Getting in the habit of not running from people she's seeing walking by. And the more stuff happens around her and that she can watch instead of always thinking she has to run from, the better she's gonna be. The answer for her is more exposure. Every day, if you can, push her past those fears. See, every time something happens like that, she realized she didn't die and she didn't have to run for her life either. She's a little bit better. Now, on the flip side, I'm not going to let anyone come up to her. I don't want anyone to pet her. I don't want her to reinforce any sort of fear. I want her to realize she's here just to watch. She's being passive. She's releasing some stress with those yawns. She's doing something hard. You know, if it were up to her, she'd be running away right now. Good, nope. Good, nope, stay. Good. That downstay is so important. And there's the double down. That's the coping skill.
I have none in the office.
Good girl, Beth. That's my good girl. Okay, that's my good girl. All right, let's see if we can heal. Her downstay is pretty solid. We're gonna see if we can heal. One positive is that you won't have to worry about filming. You'll just have the dog and the remote. Okay, we're gonna tap the tone. Say heel, start walking. Heel. Good. Click. Bring her back to heel. Anytime she leaves that bubble, click. I know, right? Yeah, there you go. Click. So it's just, it's a constant, it's a dance. It's constant communication. She does something, you respond, right? If she's doing the right thing, you're praising. If she leaves heel, you're clicking. She's not gonna hold herself accountable, especially if she's scared. So I would call that a positive or neutral experience out at Home Depot, where we held her in command, we didn't allow her to go into panic, and she realized